Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
It's been a beautiful weekend, a beautiful day here in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, and I am so glad, even though I can't hear it when we start the show, I am so glad we have a new open for the show. And with that, welcome as the big voice man, Bob in Millersburg. Thank you so much for our new open. It is the Voice Land right here on the Big Play Network, sponsored by Vector Technical. They'll get the right person in the right job the first time. And of course, we are partnered with LPV Productions. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. Alongside me is always Positive Jay across the table. And behind that proverbial glass, it is our producer extraordinaire, Audio, or Peter Tellep. For those that don't know, he is our AI system. He is what Jarvis was to Iron Man. Audio is to the voice of the land. And today we are so happy to be joined from BetJack and the Sports Parlor podcast. Nick Padone is joining us on the show today. Going to talk a lot of Cleveland sports, but thank you so much for taking some time to come in.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. This will be fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah, full show. Crazy.
Yeah. So we'll get right into things. And our title kind of mentioned sweep, no sweep. I guess a play on the whole Dora the Explorer thing. But with your Cleveland Guardians, it's kind of been, feast or famine with them. It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It has been, they've gone the last three series. They got swept by the Giants. Then you go ahead and sweep your division rival in the Chicago White Sox. Then you get swept by the Yankees. Oh, and their trash fans are throwing trash at you. Before we get into that part of it, because, got some thoughts on that, I got to ask you guys, and I'll start with Jay. This team, yes, it's a long season. This just feels like any old, doesn't matter if the name changed or not, it feels like any old April of
Pretty
baseball in Cleveland.
It's the roller coaster ride that is, or was the Cleveland Indians, that is now the Cleveland Guardians, as usual. This is weird. It's like it gets cold, they can't bat. It gets warm, they can hit. They're just real weird at this time of the year always.
Well, but don't they lost every single kind of way this week? They had, I think they out hit the Yankees on Friday night and still lose 4-1. Then you're leading in the top of the ninth. Do you expect Manuel Clase to come in, shut it down? He doesn't. They win in the bottom of the ninth. And then today you get your doors blown off. So kind of lost every single kind of way in the Bronx.
Yeah, for sure. Super frustrating. It's always frustrating to me too. It just seems like the Yankees are one of those teams that just have Cleveland's number. Like you said, Jay, used to be the Indians, now the Guardians, new name, same thing. And yeah, it's just how this team always starts. It's probably how this year is going to go, where, they'll overachieve a little bit and they'll have games where they'll score 10 runs and get us all to believe. And then, the inverse is also true, where there'll be days where you can't get a hit and your starting pitching is still super young and it looks super dumb at times. And I think that's just going to be kind of the way that it goes.
Yeah. And with a young team too, just kind of getting things started, you have Quan, who was playing well on the road, then comes home and, the fans are expecting everything. I was at the home opener and, every single time he came up, the fans were into it. That was kind of like the only time there was energy in the stadium that night, but they tried to start this Mighty Ducks, like quack, like Quan. So it was fun, but then you see a guy not able to hit, not able to come through, and kind of a lot of pressure on him. He's being interviewed before they even have their home opener by different places and saying like, Cleveland's all about you, man. Like, you're the biggest thing right now after 6 games of baseball.
They put a lot of hype and like a lot of pressure on that kid real fast.
They did.
Yeah. So you're going to have that, Owen Miller was playing well. Then he goes on the COVID list. Quantrill goes on the COVID list. He pitched well yesterday though. Pitching staff has been pretty good. I think really the only disappointment of the main guys has been Savali, wouldn't you say? I mean, not just today. It feels like he's given up those 2-run jacks kind of every start early on, and it's getting his team behind.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you summed it up right there. Is it me or do you guys get super annoyed when we lose to the Yankees? Like it's like losing 2 games every time I lose to those guys. Like it just drives me nuts. And then I see what their fans did, and I'm still annoyed by that.
I mean, I was brought up to, as a baseball fan, I was brought up to hate the Yankees. Just like as a football fan, I was brought up to hate the Steelers. And I was brought up to hate that school up north. In basketball, I don't know if there's necessarily a hate. It would have been the Bulls if they would have continued after Jordan, because it seemed like that would have been that was kind of the biggest rivalry. I mean, we grew to hate the Warriors, but there really wasn't one there. But in baseball, I was taught to hate the Yankees. I mean, Peter, you're a big baseball fan too, so that's kind of how it's always been. But yet, when we need it most, it seems like the Yankees have our number, like Padone said.
It really does. The weird thing is, like in the 90s, there were times when it seemed like during the regular season, we just could not beat the Yankees. But then when we got in the postseason, we would knock them out.
Yeah.
Which was like it was just so sweet. Like, revenge, right? But no, it's I don't this team right now with this team. I was hoping we were listening. Jake and I were listening to the game and heard Clase blow that save, and it's just. And then with the fan, just the behavior of the fans. Before the game was even over, they were obviously saying something to Quan.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
that was I don't know that's just classless, and.
I mean, can we all agree that the Yankees are in our top 3 like hated teams power rankings of all
yeah,
sports?
definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
'Cause I actually can't stand them more than the Steelers, believe it or not. I hate the Yankees with a passion.
It upsets me more when I see like people around Cleveland that are big Yankees fans more than people that are Pittsburgh fans.
Mhm.
Like I have friends that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans because we're so close. We're not
close,
far
yeah.
from Pittsburgh. A good friend of mine is a big Steelers fan. His dad lives in Pittsburgh. He spends half his time there, and I get it. My grandfather was from that area. He was like from that area of Ohio that's you spit on and you hit Pittsburgh, and so he was a Steelers fan. And my grandmother was a huge Browns fan, so that was fun when the Browns and Steelers would play because they'd wear like Steelers sweatshirt or Browns sweatshirt, and they'd just be bickering it with each other.
See, the thing with the Yankees too, it's like I can't stand because they kind of were the ones that started the whole being able to spend all this money and buying all of it. But it makes it worse. I can't stand their fans. I've always couldn't stand their fans. New York people are. I was saying earlier on the radio, they're just so arrogant, and they just think they're better than everybody. We're supposed to do everything they do. Like, dude, I don't want to even. You couldn't pay me to go vacation in New York. I want nothing to do with your city.
That's a good
You
point.
pay like thousands and thousands of dollars to live in a
Yeah.
closet that I could buy a $300,000 home in Ohio for. You raise a family, you can't even have a backyard with like grass. You don't even know what grass is there unless you go to a park that you can get mugged in. Like, get the hell out of here with your Yankee and New York love. That town sucks. You guys are just walking all over each other there. It's overcrowded.
It's cold.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
your weather's worse than mine.
Miami's the new New York City.
I mean, look at the subway systems are flooding. There's like rivers in them now. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
New
rats
York.
the size of like raccoons.
There's probably rats the size of me out there, dude.
So
So tell me how you really feel about New York.
Yeah.
Jay.
Oh, you don't know. Like, I was so excited I could do this show because I love to rant on New York because they just think only thing I want from them is their pizza. That is it. That's it. Other than that, I want nothing to do with that town.
Honestly, I like the Chicago pizza.
I just had deep dish for the first time ever last week when we went to the
where'd you
Marvel
get
thing.
it at?
Is it Giordani's in
Giordano's?
Columbus? Giordano's? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
That sounds fantastic.
2 pieces, and I was just like, oh, can't move. Oh my God.
It's
Yeah.
the best.
Screw New York. Back to what I was saying.
Is New York like thin crust? Is that there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the real
yeah.
thin, real
You
big, and you gotta
fold it,
fold it to eat
Yeah,
it.
a lot of flop though, man.
Yeah.
That's tough because then you gotta like fold it in half, and it's like, am I eating a taco or am I eating a piece of pizza?
What's
It
the
gets tough.
Vincenzo's downtown?
Yeah, Vincenzo's.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome pizza.
It's really good.
No. I don't know. I mean, their fans are trash. I know you said you wouldn't go there. I at least would like to take a trip to New York City at some point. If for nothing else, like, the basic tourism thing,
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty, or, even the Freedom Tower
The Freedom Tower is
and
pretty
the
cool.
memorial for, 9/11. That's something that I feel like every American should have a chance to, go see, pay their respects to those that
Someone
that
could
lost their
take me in a
lives that day, but-
helicopter and I'll fly around and see it that way. I don't want nothing to I want to look down on those people in a helicopter.
Well, and
Go
I-
in the summer.
Manhattan's not bad.
No?
what-
Yeah, sure.
You
If
want to
say
stay out of
so.
the Bronx, I think.
And I don't understand. I just don't understand where the vitriol came from yesterday in that game. Quan trying to make a play, bangs into the wall, and then you're laughing at a guy, you're loving that a guy is getting hurt. That's one of the softest, weakest, most chump things you can do as a fan is to root for someone to get hurt. Even our biggest rivals, I would never root for Ben Roethlisberger or a Steeler or someone on that team up north, anything like that, to ever get hurt. Because, if you've played sports before or you've just watched them, you know that there are some excruciating injuries that these guys have to work their way back from. And especially if it's a college athlete or, it's a guy that's just starting out in the major leagues. He just got his opportunity. Major injury that takes he's got to go through rehab, then he's got to come through the minors again. Who knows who's taking that spot again? These spots aren't guaranteed. So now you're laughing. And I saw people, I think it was Big Barstool, Big Cat, kind of posting the picture of Straw climbing the wall, which you got to give a bunch of kudos to Straw.
Who, Straw Lord, as I call him now? The Guardians of Cleveland, Straw Lord.
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing that picture that you did. And he's climbing the wall because he's not going to take that crap. I like to see that from my team.
He did it the respectful way. He didn't go in there swinging. He got right up to the guy, man to man, face to face. You got something to say it to me right now, right to my face. I have no problem with what he did.
I couldn't tell.
Then they crossed the line.
I couldn't tell what that wall was made of because he just scaled that thing like it was.
Oh,
nothing.
dude, he's part Spider-Man, part Star-Lord.
I think it was fence with the advertisements behind it.
Okay.
But yeah, when I first saw the picture, I'm like, wait, how the hell is he just on the fence?
That is
like
an iconic picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's like a legendary Cleveland picture, and it we saw it happen in real time. We'll look back on that. That's super dope. But I think that I was hoping, at least, obviously before what happened today, that could have been a turning point.
I know.
I thought we were going to crush him.
Yeah, same. I thought that was going to be a rallying thing. Miles Straw jumps on the fence, he's yelling at Yankees fans, they're throwing stuff. Their team had how about Judge and Giancarlo Stanton had to go and say hey,
I give them props.
Oh yeah, same.
If I'm going to knock New York, I got to give them props and do right. That was very commendable what those two did.
For sure, because they could have just ran in, like what probably everybody else did. So anywho, I thought that was going to be kind of a rallying point. We could have blown him out today. Savali, who will probably be a Yankee at some point in his career, let's be honest, he'll probably turn things around. He's an Italian kid. He's from there. He's going to end up pitching there one day. And I thought he would do better, but he didn't. And so be it.
Yeah, you don't like to see, especially the starting rotation that's supposed to be so good. You don't want to see any sort of issue. And of course, the Yankees, I think, came into, at least yesterday, if not today, they were the best pitching staff in all of baseball coming into the series. Their weak spot was actually Garrett Cole. Who helped Garrett Cole find his rhythm? The Guardians. And I would like to see that be a rallying point too, Padone. I really would.
Still could be. It's just one game.
Yeah, sometimes you see that it kind of manifests itself as the season goes along, especially with a long season like baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, to not see it today, I guess, a little bit more fight back from this team, kind of a criticism of them. But again, all that stuff went down yesterday. The Yankees took care of business at home. We'll see what the rest of this 7-game road trip is. I mean, they got to go from New York all the way across to play the Angels, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, 4 games. And then who do they come back this way with? I can't even remember the other 3-game series is with, but it's a 10-game road trip here in April to kind of finish things out. Again, it's roller coaster baseball. I feel like we're gonna say that all season long. I just don't want to see something like this weekend kind of hurt this young team that doesn't, they don't know what they don't know. You don't want to be you don't want that to become what they know and what they feel.
Even though they did lose, those road trips are known for building good bonds, and having all that happen and then going on a road trip, I think is going to help. But I can't wait for it to happen, but I'm glad we cannot bet yet, because I would have bet on the Indians to win today. But
Guardians.
Guardians. I'll get it.
Quarter in the jar.
Quarter in the jar. But yeah, if you're betting now on them, I would totally say they're going to win the next series the way they've been playing. They lose a series, they win a series. They lose a series, they win a series.
And it's like we said, it's sweep, get swept, then sweep, then get swept. You can't play. You're not going to build a consistent type team, unfortunately, that way. It's fun to sweep. That's totally fun. And you get the gifts and all of the emojis out about the brooms, and you swept this team, you swept that team. That's all well and good, but you got to win series. You got to take 2 or 3. You got to take 3 or 4. Let those build up. That's how the good teams become great teams, and the great teams end up being the best at the end of the year and go win a World Series. and that's why the Guardians.
Quarter.
Well, the Indians didn't win one for 70 plus years. Now the Guardians are going to add to like 73 or 74. So we'll just have to see. We'll try to dabble in Guardians baseball every couple weeks.
It's tough, dude, because this is where like it's tough to talk about baseball. It's tough to care. You got the draft this week, so that's going to absolutely dominate the entire, not just sports news cycle, but the global world news cycle from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You got the USFL trying to go on and compete. You got the NBA playoffs going on, and like the luster and like the romanticizing of the beginning of baseball season is starting to dwindle. We're going to get into the dog days of, mid-May by the time the draft hype goes down and everything. So it gets tough to talk about it at this time of year.
It's just hard to pay attention to baseball before the All-Star break because
without
teams
cable,
they just go up and down from right now.
Without actual cable for Bally Sports,
that hurts
actual
too.
For the app, so that hurts to kind of.
I won't discuss how I watch the Indians or Guardians.
We promise that we'll talk a little bit more baseball than most other outlets like this will, but it's still going to be tough because there are more things. And you talk about the draft. We'll get into that a little bit later. That involves the NFL and college football in a way, so that two worlds kind of coming together, the two biggest worlds coming together. So. We will touch on that a little bit later. Coming up next, though, we have Nick Padone in studio for a reason. We're going to talk about BetJack's training camp app to kind of help you understand sports betting. BetJack is here to help, so we're going to talk about that. If you are watching tonight, remember, follow us at VTL_pod, like our Facebook page at Voice of the Land, and follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel and Big Play all across social media platforms. And even LPV Productions. This is the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land, a part of the Big Play Sports Network. And we are joined tonight by Nick Padone, who is in studio with us for the entire show. But we have him here for a reason. We want to get to it now off the top because I'm sure people are trying to enjoy their Sunday night, so they're probably tuning in, tuning out. So, Nick, you guys at BetJack just launched a new app. What is the exact app that people want to look for? Because Jay had a problem actually finding it. We had one name up on our screen from when you guys did it on the Sports Parlor, and then Jay couldn't find it. So how do people find it, and is it across all phone platforms?
Yeah, it is. It's across all phone platforms. It's also online at, the good old traditional www.betjack.com. But the app is definitely a lot more sleek. It's on the App Store. It's on the Google Play Store. Just search BetJack BetJack Training Camp. The logo to it is the traditional like Jack J that, the same as the casino downtown Thistledown in North Randall. So yeah, it's a super sleek app. It's exactly a sports book. It's completely free to sign up, free to get started. And free to do the whole thing. There's no money involved. There's no credit cards or anything like that. So super dope.
And I know did it launch after March Madness, or was it launching during and you kind of got a chance to try it out? And I know you recorded something at Nick Padone 12 on Twitter. You recorded yourself at the MAC tournament.
Yeah. So exactly. I had it a little bit before. I've had it for a long time now. Like truth be told, I've had this thing for a while, and it's been in development for a while. So we've had like different test flights and obviously that whole process in development. But yeah, so I was able to go to the Mid-American Championship game in Cleveland and bet on the app there. And we made a video for that for BetJack, as well as, I was able to go down this past week to Cincinnati for their home opener, Reds versus Guardians, kind of the perfect opportunity. BetJack definitely we want to own Ohio. Like we want people to know that, we're the only gaming company that's from Ohio, like originally started and still going in Ohio. So we want to make sure people know that like Cleveland, Columbus, Cincy, all those big markets kind of have, their home, because just like us, like we all love Cleveland. so much. Like those people are exactly the same in Cincinnati. Like they saw that we were wearing Guardian stuff and they were giving us a hard time. Like they're all about the Reds, even though they probably live in Kentucky and stuff, and like Columbus, same thing. So yeah, super cool, super fun. There's a ton of good stuff going on, and I would say like to anybody that's having a hard time finding it or a hard time getting started, go to BetJack on Twitter. It's literally the pinned tweet up at the BetJack social, and that sends you to an actual landing page where it explains it in a little bit more detail. It's written out, and there's links to click that'll actually redirect you right on your phone to the App Store or the Google Play Store.
So for someone that doesn't know, and Jay even said, like, I might even ask Padone to explain this to me. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing, because we really don't. We told you that the last time we had you on, but. Yeah. What was kind of the purpose, or what is the hope for this app, kind of getting that out there to people before Ohio really becomes legal with sports betting?
Yeah, definitely. So it is legal. The sports betting is legal in Ohio right now. Right now, they're in the phase where they're waiting for rules and regulations to be written and distributed to be able to get licenses out to everybody, to us, to FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, the whole nine. Everybody's in this kind of waiting pattern. So while we're waiting, and while all the hype was out that like sports betting is legal, it is coming, we were like, well, what could we do to kind of take this to the next step? And it like the only answer was to do a free betting app. And the reason why is because we don't want people to sign up if it is January 1, 2023 and bet insane parlays every bowl game, go super hard, blow their entire bank account, not win anything. And then they're like, okay, I don't even know what I bet on. Sports betting sucks, and I'm never going to do it again. Right. Because that's not fun. That's not fun. It is
so pretty much me and Kevin can learn how to bet from here till then.
Dude, exactly. Yeah. So
all right, it's on now. I'm going to have a lot of fun in this app.
Yeah.
So I could bet without losing money right now to learn, bitch. Because I mean, I'm in Ohio. I don't travel. I don't like go to bet. I've never been to a sports book in my life. So yeah, this will be awesome to learn on.
Yeah, so every day when you log in, every 24 hours it resets, and when you log in, it's on login, you get 100 free tokens is what it is. So you pretty much have $100 to bet on anything. And I mean, they have like everything on here. I've had this like.
All right, how many tokens you got right now?
That's classified.
Oh, classified.
No, I got 69.
That's why I didn't plug in.
I got 6,900 tokens right now.
So you're doing pretty good for fake money right now.
I mean, that, and I've had it for a while.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm sure there's been the days where it's been like, oh, the big chunk just came out of that.
Recently. Yeah, I mean, recently. And that's the cool part too, right? Like it does work just like a sports book. So there is like, could I plug in?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I can plug in and actually show you guys on this, but it works just like a sports book where you could like actually go see your old bets. And like, this is like embarrassing, but I mean, I lost a 3-pick parlay on 420. You can see I bet 420 tokens on it. Then I bet the Nets straight up because I didn't think they were going to go down 0-2 to Boston. They did. Then I bet Guardians money line today. That didn't hit. And then I bet no run first inning. Which is
so you're jinxing my Guardians.
That's in sports, and that didn't hit either. But yeah, you could like roll through and see all of your old bets, and then you could see the bets that you currently have going on. And then this is kind of the homepage, what it looks like. You got baseball, hockey, football.
How cool.
Pretty much everything on there, yeah.
So, and I think it is important to know, we are talking about sports betting or just betting in general, the typical PSA. It can become addictive. It can become an issue for people, and people have gone through that. And there's plenty of helplines and help communities for that. But I think what we're seeing is kind of an emphasis in the sports world, and why a lot of people are talking about whether we've done it or not, why it's coming into general sports podcast, sports radio, on-air conversation, and you're looking at actual lines to these games. It's just becoming a natural part of the lexicon in
everything's changing right now. Like for how many years you had to go to Vegas to bet on a game? That was it. That was the only place. Now there's states all over around us that you can bet on games, and we're going to be one of them soon. So everything's going to change, and how the sportscast media and everything is going to be changed. They're going to see lines, like live lines on the bottom of sports games and stuff, or what you can bet on and stuff. A lot of stuff's going to change.
Dude, it's
awesome.
incredible. It's incredible. And a couple things to Kevin's point. As far as responsible gaming goes,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all about that.
Yeah.
Same thing in the Twitter bio, Instagram bio, YouTube
Yeah.
bio, all the bios.
Right.
1-800-GAMBLER. That's the number. If you feel yourself even starting to slip a little bit, reach out to help. It is supposed to be for fun. It is supposed to be just another way to enjoy the game. Instead of just rooting for somebody to win. All right, now you're rooting for somebody to win by 3 or more, so it just adds a little bit more fun. And then like some of the stuff with the player props and stuff too is just a lot of fun to get involved in. It's going to completely change how we watch and consume sports content the same way that kind of fantasy football does in a way for a lot of people.
Actually, Nick, I had a question for you. I know this because I work with you on the Sports Parlor, but can you kind of
that in?
Well, yeah.
Dynamite drop in there.
You like that? You like that? So what I was going to ask is if you could kind of talk a little bit more about like the prop bets, because I think a lot of people don't really understand like the prop bets. Because I find that kind of fascinating. Just all the different little things.
That's
that
what
you
I was
can actually
referring
bet
to,
on.
like on
Yeah.
the tickers, it'll show like prop bets that you'll be able to like in games. Who's going to make the next basket and stuff like that, correct?
Dude, yeah, it's phenomenal. So tonight the Suns and the Pelicans tip at 9:30. So you could click on that, and then they have like player specials. So you could bet on literally almost anything. Chris Paul points, rebounds, and assists will have over and under 38.5 of all those combined stats. You could get even as crazy to they have player to score first field goal of the game. So who scores the first basket? It's a literal
all right.
crapshoot. You don't know.
Is there a bet where I could bet is someone trying to try to run on the court and get tackled?
No.
Oh,
So like
Like
I know a lot of those exotic prop bets exist,
Mhm.
especially for it's popular in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there
yeah.
going to be a streaker and stuff? This app does have a lot of crazy stuff like that. It doesn't get as insane of some of the stuff, and that's just because US markets aren't gonna offer a lot of that stuff. But a lot of it is offshore, which offers crazy Snoop Dogg gonna smoke on stage and that kind of stuff.
Right. But I think it still adds an element that even without some of those more exotic kind of off the court, off the field things, it still feels like it opens up to more people, because there are people that, if they're a sports fan, they're not necessarily a fan of any team. They enjoy watching players. They enjoy they're more just into statistics, and that kind of speaks to them a little bit with those over-unders with Chris Paul and the combined points, assists, rebounds, those types of things. So it kind of gives an angle for every single type of sports fan out there.
And there are so many ways to bet, right? So we wanted to get this all in front of everyone right now, so they have the next couple months to digest and understand, like, one, do I like sports betting at all to begin with? And two, okay, I like sports betting, particularly on this sport. Particularly, I like betting the spread. Particularly, I like betting, money line, over-unders, parlays, all these new things that obviously as us as sports fans, we're a little bit more familiar with than just the casual fan. But for the more casual audience, we wanted to make sure they have all of this in front of them, because if not, like, it's like, bro, like, what am I doing? You download this, you see a bunch of numbers, and it's like, this is just completely overwhelming. But once you, kind of take the time, mess around with it, win 6,900 tokens, it's a good time.
See, for me, I'm actually looking forward to it. I got into fantasy football because, I'm a Browns fan, and we suffered for so many years, didn't get to watch anything fun. And I wanted to enjoy football. So that's what got me into fantasy football. This is where, like, I don't mind putting, like, as we say, pizza money on something.
Yeah.
Like, it'll make you can watch every game. It gives everything so much more excitement when you watch it. Just even if you win $20, cool, that's awesome. But you'll be invested in games that aren't just Cleveland centric anymore.
And I think, like, what's cool about this app is, you just mentioned fantasy football. There are people that do fantasy football just for fun, and it makes the NFL games more exciting, not just when you watch your team, but then you watch that Sunday afternoon game, Sunday night, Monday night, or if you got the Red Zone channel or however you're watching football, it makes it more fun because now you're rooting for more. You're trying to look for more to happen in the league beyond your team. Here, there's probably going to be people that may not, especially in the beginning, they're not going to want to put actual money down, but they continue. Is this app going to continue even when like all the rules and regulations are out there for people almost to kind of play like an arcade type game, or is it going to go away and become like actually kind of require people to put money on it?
We're working through it. We're
Yeah.
working through
Yeah.
it. Not sure yet what that's going to look like, obviously, just because that stuff isn't final. But yeah, we're definitely working through all that. We would like to keep it up because that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, still working through that kind of stuff.
Yeah, again, we give people that just want to have some fun, and that, they
Yeah.
you're getting 100 tokens every single day. Let's see, let's see what I can do, and then if they get into it and kind of want to put, even like $10, $20.
Yep.
Like, we're not talking about these people that put these exorbitant amount of money, and just have this money to
Mattress
blow.
smack.
Mattress Mac, dude. Mattress Mac.
Yeah, Mattress Mac. This is like a $1 here or $5 there, maybe a $10 bet there, and because some of those bets can turn into a lot more money, you can get a lot more for.
You know what we should do? A little fun thing is like
Mhm.
maybe we should all compete with each other. We'll start a
Dude,
day
so-
with and like every day, and we'll have like a certain time. Like, all right, this is where it ends, and then we'll see who made the most money.
Yeah, so here's something that's completely unique to BetJack, and that's a really good point. So that lacks in the world of sports betting. So what we did is we wanted to integrate some sort of social platform to it. So I have obviously my own account, and then Jay, has your account, Kevin has your account. We could actually friend each other in the app. There's a friend code that we could text each other, and then everybody could become friends in this app. And exactly what you just said, we could monitor these bets kind of back and forth and who's doing what. So in like this, when you go to challenges, you could see that like I'm in a couple different challenges, like bet leagues with people where you could kind of, I won't,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So you could kind of like, exactly do what you just said. Like you set a 50 token limit every day where, we're all going to put 50 fake tokens into
Yeah.
a certain sporting event every day. We could do it for the NBA playoffs. We could do it for the NFL, and then set a set period of time. And at the end, that's that. And we also
see
have,
whoever wins the most tokens is that
is
winner.
the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then,
Awesome
like,
bragging rights. Like, I'm better than-
statistics, so you got stats up here, so you kind of know a little bit what to do, and you can see like what sports you're good at, what sports you're not that great at. That's always fun to look at just because mine are like always really bad. And then activities is really fun too. So this is the part where you can actually share like with your friends. It's like a Facebook status. So you see I got my one buddy on here, did no run first inning, which is like one of my big thing.
Mhm.
So then you could just share like what you're betting on with your friends. And then the more friends you have, like the more you could share this kind of stuff and the more people could see it. So kind of a super cool, like social aspect into that.
and you can learn from that big time. Like if
Yeah.
you're someone that's better at betting
Yeah.
you are than me, you're showing me I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm like, all right, now I'm seeing a pattern. and
Yeah,
everything.
we
and
could
you
comment
learn.
on each other's
Yeah,
stuff too.
that's
Like, dude,
awesome.
I'm never betting on that. Like, you've lost 5 in a row. Why would I ever bet on
For the
that?
record, I had no idea the social part of this existed.
Dude,
I
yeah.
totally just
Yeah.
brought that up
Yeah,
out of the blue.
it's super unique. I mean, no one's doing that, so it's super unique. We definitely want people to utilize it for that exact reason of, it just takes it to the next level where you could have that fun with your friends for free. You don't have to put that actual money behind it, like things like March Madness pools and, all that kind of stuff that people do. So yeah, it's a super unique feature to the app that I really like, and to the point of just having fun and doing it. And it's kind of like a community thing. When I was down in Cincinnati for their opening day, just being, the kind of person I am, obviously we're filming a video down there, and these people, and the fans in the stands and stuff, like see that we're doing a video. People have a zillion questions about it. We pretty much had like half the section betting on the same exact prop bet that we were. There were Guardians fans, there were Reds fans. It was like the coolest thing because everybody then was cheering for the same outcome live at the game that we were at. And it was just super cool because I'm like sitting here, me, my buddy who's filming, and then like 30 strangers, like all betting that there won't be a run in this first inning. And like we have people actively like cheering.
Every
for
out
strike.
is just like, yeah, there we
Like,
go.
Dude, everybody was like, three more, like in between innings. It was just super fun. So that kind of stuff, the community aspect of it just like takes it to a whole new level because it's a completely different way to watch sports. And it's bizarre to see people have.
We're
that kind
definitely
of
have to
fun.
go to
for
a
the first
Guardians
time.
game this
Yeah.
year as a group and do
Yeah.
this. That sounds like a lot of fun.
And it just makes, again, how big social media is, like
Mhm.
social interaction through these types of things, through apps, through websites right now. That's such a cool added element. Last question for you, Padone, on this.
Yeah.
When do you say Ohio gets actually set with all these rules,
Yeah.
regulations, and we'll have places for people to go to do this.
So
When
I
can I
will-
officially put money on a game in Ohio?
So I will say that there's no set date right now. So
Mm.
we know, I'm being dead
Get on
serious.
it, DeWine.
No, it's not him. It's not him. So
I'm gonna
he's
yell at him anyway.
so he's done his part. So right before Christmas, Mike DeWine did his part, and I was super pumped to see that. Right,
All
like I put out a shirt that said "Legalize Sports Betting Ohio."
remember.
And the O in sports was the state of Ohio, and I raised like a couple $100 for local schools. I just like found teachers that had. I forget what the website was called, like Donor Choose or something. I
Mm.
was able to buy like vacuum cleaners and like English textbooks and all this kind of stuff. And that's where the tax money is going to go from actual legalized sports betting. 100% of that tax money goes back to the schools, which I think is super cool. Just as a public school kid myself in high school. So that's super dope. So he did his part in December around Christmas. He signed that bad boy into, a bill that's legal, whatever, we're done. Now it is just the waiting pattern of rules and stuff. So it's not Mike DeWine. I've chilled out on him a lot. He did what I did not think he was going to do and held up to his end of the deal. So the good news is it will be no later than January 1st, 2023.
Okay.
So like nightmare scenario, which is it is a very real scenario, just being candid with you guys, that it could be January 1, 2023, but you never know. They could
have it before football season, possibly.
I don't know.
Not-
If
one
I was
sounds-
betting on it,
No.
I probably wouldn't even bet on it because like nothing that they do surprises me. So yeah, it's just too hard to say right now. But I would say that probably like January 1, 2023 would be like what I'm leaning towards, just kind of the way that it seems to be going, which is tough, but you still get the NFL playoffs, you still get bowl games, you still get college championships. So there is a ton of stuff at the beginning of 2023 that'll be fun to bet on. It's a bummer, but that it won't be here for football season, but it's all the more better to like use training camp, get your feet into that world.
Yeah.
And then eventually we want to tie tangible things to BetJack training camp. So if people, participate in challenges, we've already done giveaways on social media at BetJack where people, tweet their bet slip, whatever random thing that they're betting on, and they get free GV art shirts and like swag and that kind of stuff. So we want to keep doing that. We want to keep tying tangible things to this free app just to get people, to have that kind of fun for free before it actually starts, and win, possibly Browns tickets or Guardians suite for literally $0. That'd be super fun, I think.
And can we emphasize it's for fun? It's for
for fun.
entertainment.
It's
You're
free.
not gonna.
Yeah, it's
The
free.
odds are totally against you of becoming a millionaire and becoming as a career.
Yeah.
Do it for fun. Bet what you can afford. If you can't lose it, don't bet it.
Yeah, that's the biggest rule, right? And I've even like taken that philosophy with the tokens. Like
Yeah.
if I can't afford to lose these tokens, like I'm not gonna bet it, because then I'm gonna be like pissed at myself, like, oh, I just blew 4,000 tokens
Then-
on something, and now I can't bet on this game that I wanted to bet on. So
Well, that's what I was telling Rez. I will only bet if I bet $20 and I lose $20, I'm not gonna be mad. Bet what you won't be mad about losing.
Yeah. Because there's no reason to be like, losing sleep. Like there's,
I mean, I've witnessed a family member lose everything because of sports gambling, like everything. His wife, his family, his house, his car, lost it all.
yeah.
Thank God he turned it back around. But yeah, just it can go. It's a
Right. And
the good
very,
news-
very slippery slope.
And the good news too is we've come such a long way.
Oh, yeah.
We're like especially in Ohio, they're taking the right precautions, they're taking the right efforts, and candidly, I think that's part of what's taking so damn long is they want to make sure that everything is set in stone. So
Yeah.
if there is somebody that is out there struggling, that they could go seek that help, and the help actually works. So 1-800-GAMBLER, you can't plug
Right.
it enough.
Yeah,
That's the
this was
number.
a pretty much back alley bookie type deal. So if he wasn't paying like that, my cousin might not have lived.
Well,
type
let's
thing.
let's leave it right there. Let's not talk
Hey.
about in the back alley. We're like way past the time for
This is
break.
the 90s, so,
yeah,
it's all good.
But yeah, it is all for fun, and the app is out there. If you guys search BetJack Training Camp, and it is a lot of fun. It is just for fun. You're betting credits, and if anybody needs help, please bet responsibly. And 1-800-GAMBLER is there for anyone that needs help, and for anything, reach out when you need it. Now we are going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL draft and Cavs. Did Evan Mobley get robbed? Probably, but we will give our answers to that on the other side. If you're looking for some Voice of Land gear, though, we got just the place for you during this commercial break.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. Kevin Arnold alongside Always Positive Jay. I swear we're working on getting you on, like, in the actual commercial on the shirts. Peter, is he on shirts on the website
He's
right now?
not yet. We need to.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that.
You want the sales to go up? Put my face on the shirt.
Yeah,
We'll get some mugs.
yeah, we'll get mugs. We'll get, because I gotta change out my shirt. now,
Everyone
too.
wants this mug on their mug. Dude.
There you go.
As much as we,
Wow, look at that.
as
They
much
sell themselves.
as much as we love one of the OGs, Nick Paulus, it's time to get Jay on the gear. So we'll work on that here soon. So we'll try to get that out there. And of course, audio is behind the glass tonight, producing for us. And we are joined by Nick Padone. We were just talking about BetJack Training Camp, the free app that you can kind of get to know what sports betting is all about. Again, for fun, bet responsibly, and kind of just a cool way to interact. And I'm sure, a lot of people are probably betting a lot of NBA playoffs games right now. And we were hoping that the Cavs would be in one of these opening rounds to get a little bit more experience, but they did not. So Cavs are in their off season. We got word of the Rookie of the Year honors. We'll start there. Evan Mobley takes second to Scotty Barnes of Toronto. Scotty Barnes, of course, playing a big role. And Padone, I saw you tweet this yesterday, playing a big role for them down the stretch to make that run, to solidify themselves in that top six. But it just felt like, and it's going to come out as biased because we're doing a Cleveland sports-based podcast right now and show. But, it just felt like Evan Mobley was talked about, not just here. He got recognition around the country and was the most consistent. And, lost by, 15 or 16 votes, something like that was the gap. Did he get robbed, Jay?
Yeah. I mean, congratulations, Scotty Barnes. But, Mobley got robbed for sure. That dude, look at our season. It completely 180 from last year to this year, and he's probably the biggest thing about it. Like, the kid played unreal defensively, and I think those stats probably got overlooked in this thing.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. It's just that without Evan Mobley, man, the Cavs were a tough watch. I know at that same time was Jared Allen was down, and we were doing a lot of Moses Brown, which was fun, but it wasn't Evan Mobley, for sure. But it's so tough because Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley have pretty much almost identical same offensive and defensive output. It literally just is the fact that last year the Cavs were so poverty. They were finally starting to show things at the end of the season, but really last season and prior years it's just been so tough. And Evan Mobley gets here and we finally have life. They're worth watching. They're in games. They're in 2 play-in games because they were the 7th seed, and that's what I thought would get him that edge over for Rookie of the Year, just because he made Cleveland Cavs basketball relevant again. And when LeBron leaves your team, guys, you're supposed to be left for dead. It is supposed to be Chernobyl in your basketball town for a very long time. And I truly believe that Kobe Altman hit on the big picks where he was supposed to. Darius Garland is a star. Evan Mobley, although he was robbed, albeit slightly, to Scotty Barnes, I still think Evan Mobley could be an MVP of this league one day.
Yeah, he is. His ceiling is unreal.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Even though it stings this year that they, lost the way that they did this year, the future is so bright, and it's so annoying to say in sports and in Cleveland especially. Just there's always next year, but for this Cavs team, next year truly is something to look forward to because you got your pick back. You could get Ricky Rubio back. All the key guys are under contract. You hope this summer DG signs his max deal, whatever that might be, and gets his bag. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to be negative, even about Mobley losing Rookie of the Year. Because one day if he wins MVP and the Cavs are a 3-4 seed in that MVP season, it's all going to be sweeter.
I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Maybe a hot take. If the Cavs were healthy, I don't care. They could have beat anybody in the Eastern Conference, I believe. That team, when they were completely healthy, were just blowing people out. How many games in a row did they beat the spread?
Yeah,
They were
the
unreal
wagon.
defensively,
Yeah.
awesome. Like,
Yeah, they were wagging.
and that's not even without Sexton. Like, if you would have had him all year, what a difference he would have been. Like, we needed that scoring in that playoff game big time when Garland goes down.
I mean, I might disagree in terms of, they could beat anybody when we kind of saw like once
I
people
wouldn't say
adjusted
the
to it.
odds, but I'm saying they just
Right.
could have done it.
Yeah.
But like that's a disagreement where the gap isn't that far, and even if it was that far,
Mhm.
I wouldn't. It's not like I'm going to need to yell across the table to you. Again,
Yeah.
that's not.
I'll
That's
put
not
it this
what
way, I wouldn't have bet on it,
yeah.
but I wouldn't have been surprised if the Cavs were to upset any of those teams. They had the potential to do it.
It's
Yeah.
so tough too that the injuries happened when they did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then and I see everyone too is giving JB Bickerstaff all this heat. And I think that's foolish. Like
Oh, completely.
He deserves his fair share of blame for what happened in the play-in tournament because some of those rotations were flawed.
They were all-
Kevin Love put him on a milk carton. He was missing in action, in that final game. Defensively, he's a liability. I get it, but so is Lauri Markkanen. Why was Jetty not in there? Get people that are in there that can move their feet. But that point is all mute because the fact of the matter is JB was without his horses down the stretch post All-Star game. And in the NBA, as a quality playoff team, that's when coaches are supposed to get their playoff lineups down pat. That's when you find out, I want these 8 guys on a nightly basis in win or go home situations. And not only these 8 guys, I want these 5 together. So he didn't have the time to figure that out at all. Oh yeah. And then we're going to throw Karis LeVert, who's a volume shooter and a volume scorer, into that mix and needs the basketball into his hands.
And he gets hurt right when he gets there.
Yeah, so and he gets hurt. So like JB never had the time to figure that out. So I'm, people are just obviously Twitter is not real life, and that makes me super happy because like whenever I log on there and like people are talking about the Cavs or like even myself, like I tweeted that the Cavs could use somebody like Scotty Barnes this offseason, a wing that could play and score a little bit and play a little bit of defense. That's exactly the missing piece of this offense. And then I read some of my replies, Cavs need a new coach. And then I'm like, okay, I'm off Twitter for the rest of the day.
I stopped reading the replies.
We had a conversation about toxicity of Twitter and like how it's a fake place last week. Got the language got to a point that usually this show doesn't get to, but it's probably the language that most of us would use about how we feel about how that gets.
I got a buddy that was called, he had toxic positivity. I was like, what? Because he just always like says nice things about the Browns. Like, your positivity is toxic. You have toxic positivity. I'm like, that's not even a thing, dude.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
That's when it's not a real place.
Yeah.
But what is real is the future of this Cavs team, and it truly is bright. And Evan Mobley was a big spot of that. There was a couple games where you felt like he was hitting the rookie wall, and then he breaks through, and he's that. I don't want to compare it based on talent level, and trying to compare 2 sports is tough, but at least characteristic wise, him and Nick Chubb are kind of
quiet.
that quiet guy that it gets the job done and gets it done well. And if he's going to add more to his game, he's going to add more weight this offseason. So that those pieces coming back and the people you already have in the fold and the people that they'll try to keep, like Darius Garland, you have the core here.
Yep.
I was going to ask you guys what this Cavs team is missing, but you hit it right on the nail on the head.
I think we all agree on that.
Wing. If you can get like
Jay won't wingy.
if you can add to that like a nice
Tommy
backup.
boy.
Like you just got like one wing. Like is the other one like broken? Like
I don't know if it would be on both on the screen there.
Well, you even backed up like so you have more room, and then you just still did like
let's
the one.
just
the
move
one
on
wing.
from my fake wing, okay?
But we need a real wing. While your wing might be fake, we need a real wing, a 3-and-D type guy that's going to, it's going to be able to keep the flow going. And when the flow gets out of rhythm offensively, finding a way to get their own. We thought that could be Karis LeVert, and it still can be.
Yeah.
But, him getting injured right when they come back from the All-Star break, there was never any synergy, no chemistry with this team. You just felt like the energy just drained slowly every single game this team went out there. So
still could be Isaac Okoro too. He drives me up a wall. Like if he could hit a corner 3, who knows?
If he takes the jump
the
that
limit.
Garland kind of did, not
Yes.
even that big of a jump, just a jump,
I mean,
he will be awesome.
It
He
takes
needs to now.
because if you don't, if you got Lauri, you're hoping that Lauri Markkanen is going to defend the best player on the other team,
No,
or
he's not.
the player that's the hottest on the other team. That's not gonna happen. He's gonna get that 1 or 2 stops, like the Kevin Love stop in the end of the 2016 finals. You're not getting that.
I mean, there's just a huge difference when you watch Lauri Markkanen go out there and guard someone, and then you watch Mobley go out there and guard someone. Their feet are just so much different how they guard them. Like he just can't do it like Mobley does. And he's great. I love his shooting, dude. But yeah, he's not the greatest defender, but that's okay.
You always know a guy doesn't have good feet defensively. And you usually see this from bigger guys like Markkanen,
Yeah.
but you see it from even some of the smaller wing players when they put like the hand up, but like their feet really aren't. If you look down on the
They're, like,
screen, the
straight.
feet aren't moving, but like the hands like up, like this is going to follow them, like mirror the whole thing. Like that's going to take them.
Let's be fair. It was totally. I mean, he had to guard Trey Young. No one wants to guard him. Not
Yeah,
even guards. And you got a 7-footer out there running around. Like I felt kind of bad for him. I was at the game. I'm like, poor Lauri.
Yeah.
Look, I couldn't guard that guy. No, this guy's 7 feet. He looks so like gangly out there running around. It was just funny.
Yeah, screw Trae Young, but that's only because he's so good. So he can knock down those shots from the logo. But we'll see what this offseason does.
Do you guys think they'll make the pick, or would you like to see him trade for a veteran wing, like an established guy?
I mean, I'm willing to have those conversations if there's someone available and they can get the right deal. But it's going to be difficult, and this is going to be Kobe Altman's task this offseason. If you're looking to add a veteran instead of using that pick, which will probably be like 14-15 with the odds in the ping pong balls, if you're trying to get a veteran in here for that wing position, what's going to be tough is you can't break up too much of the core that you've already established and the chemistry they were able to establish this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him to trade any of the players. I like all the players we got, but if I'm wondering, like, is there more value to that pick before the lottery right now? Because our odds are so like high to get like a bad pick or a low pick, as you'd say.
I mean, for sure. Yeah, you would think, right, that like if they were to do that, it would probably be right after, right before the lottery. Just say like, screw it and trade it for, somebody that I think that the Cavs and Cavs fans should be keeping their eye on is just the situation with disgruntled players. Because now like the Cavs are within a punching distance of actually capitalizing on that, not being an enticing place for any of these guys to come in free agency if they were to be released, but just in the sense of, okay, like I could see myself having basketball success in Cleveland type of thing. So somebody like Donovan Mitchell, I think could be a lot of fun. He's short. He's only 6'1", which like when you watch Donovan Mitchell play, I don't think this guy's 6'1". Regardless, I think we could use that kind of scoring. Maybe we have our own Donovan Mitchell at home and Colin Sexton. The other thing is Zion. I know he probably weighs 305 right now, but I mean, he's like, the jig is up in New Orleans. I mean, they made the playoffs without him. That's Ingram's team now. And like, they could look to move him. David Griffin, Kobe Altman worked under him. So make that happen. Get Zion in Cleveland.
Yeah. We'll have to see what they do this offseason, but you already know that even if, it's going to have to be through trade more so than free agency.
Yeah.
Like Nick just said, but you know that Dan's willing to pay the money if they go over a little bit and they get into that luxury tax. If the team has a chance to win, Kobe Altman will be given all of the assets he has to his disposal, and no money will not be a question like it is for for
what
the
I'd like
Guardians
to
at
hear,
times. So
liked hearing recently is you got Allen. He read up a huge deal, so he likes staying here. You heard Chris LeVert saying he was only here for the littlest bit of his time, but he's like, I love it here. I'd love to sign an extension.
Yeah,
this is a great place to play. Colin Sexton saying he wants to play here. Like, normally when we get free agents, they're just gone. They don't say anything nice about it. We're like, oh, it's nice knowing you. We'll see you. We'll have success somewhere
it
else.
seems like that's kind of the trend right now in Cleveland. I hope to see it kind of stick around for a little bit with the cores that both, baseball, basketball, and even our football team have. And speaking of football, we do need to talk draft. It feels weird pushing that to the end to preview this at the end of a show, to leave that as the end. But
that's what happens when you don't have a first-round pick.
You have a first-round pick. It's tough to really break down unless you've got all those draft boards, number 44. So after the break, we will see what we expect from the Browns coming up this weekend. How excited are we for the NFL draft? How excited are you? And be sure to keep reaching out at VTL_pod, at Kevin and 7, at Always Positive J, and at Nick Padone 12. We'll be right back after this short break right here on the Voice of the Land.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back one final time on this Sunday evening, April 24th, to the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold, Always Positive J, Audio, our producer extraordinaire, and we are so graciously joined by Nick Padone of BetJack, and right here on the Big Play Network, you can see him Monday nights live 9 p.m. on the Big Play Reflog Show alongside Big Play Dave and Chris McNeil, Reflog on Twitter. So be sure to catch them at those times as well. We enjoy being a part, and we are so honored to be a part of such a great family with the Big Play Network. So many great shows, so many great people a part of that. And I know coming up with the draft, the Dogs Table, also a Big Play Network show. They're going to be live at the Brick House on Friday night for night 2 at 7 p.m. So
I'll be jumping on with them at one point. I'm sure you probably will. If I'm not working my other job. I don't know. I probably won't, because I mean, the spot like I'm in at that place right now. So, I gonna earn my keep. That's what that's what we're trying to do. And I will always do that. I will always earn my way through this industry, and we will earn our way to being followed and liked by more people out there here on the Voice of the Land. Because we might get sponsorships if we get more followers. So we just
make
need
sure
to have Nick on more. We'll get more viewers.
Yeah, probably.
Is that the key?
That is the key.
Yeah, the key to everything. So
just more Nick. I've been told
We
that.
need more Nick.
I've heard that a time or two too. So we need more Nick on the show. But
It's the Padone power.
usually what would get us viewers though would be talking football right off the rip. And again, it's kind of weird that we're talking NFL draft. And again, join those guys at 7 p.m. at the Brick House on the Dogs Table. They'll be breaking down the second round because they don't have a first round pick to break down. The Browns use that
That they know.
that they know of, at least. Now, the Browns have shut down to the media, I've heard. They've shut down the cross-country mortgage facility out in Berea to the media on Thursday night. So that leads you to expect that they're not going to do anything. But this team has shown that there's nothing that you can expect with them, except that they're going to do their due diligence and they're going to make football decisions informed by analytics. So
Andrew Berry never says anything in press conferences. In his last one, he actually dropped that nugget where he said something where along the lines, if a player of their value happens to fall, they don't mind doing something creative to move up and pretty much.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
Because he don't ever say anything. I caught that.
Especially the word creative and the way that he used it. That he understands, and like it's not that he spoke out of turn there. Like, let's be real, they're gonna have to get creative because they don't have a first round pick this year, next year, or the year after. So I fully expect him to be in full creative mode. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be floored if they draft at 44. I truly will be, because I think we saw how this front office approaches things last season. And with so many good wide receivers, defensive ends, which is, the biggest needs for the Browns right now, they're going to be within striking distance to get up to, pick 40 with the Seahawks, 41 with the Seahawks as well. And then that costs nothing, to hop 3 spots to go get your guy that you actually want. So I think there is going to be small creative ways. And then the big question that's still sitting out there is Baker Mayfield is still on this roster as it sits right now. I know Mike Tannenbaum, who, thinks he's plugged in the NFL because he had a GM job for 30 seconds.
That is terrible at.
Dude, yeah, exactly. He's saying that the Browns are going to have to part with 44 overall to move Baker Mayfield. That's just not true. I truly think that they're going to try to move up even a little bit as much as they can to get a player that they like. And if none of those guys are there and they don't feel comfortable with that, perfect opportunity to move back and recoup some of the stuff that you lost with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, how excited are you for this draft? I mean,
I'm normally really excited.
Can you even quantify it?
On a 1 to 10, I guess I'd say a 3.
Really?
But
I'm different though.
Oh yeah, I'm normally super excited, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be dead honest. The whole watch thing's got me really bummed out about the Browns right now still, and yeah, I just couldn't get I just kind of been ignoring football, to be honest with you guys. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting into this right now, but I mean, I love watching the draft itself. Still, I do get excited because there's what other show do you get to watch people congratulations, you won your dream job, and this is where you're going, and you've won your dream job. It's really cool experience. I love watching the excitement of those kids. like even if we even didn't have a team, I would still watch
Yeah,
the draft
same.
for that reason. I do like it that way, but man, it hurts not having that first rounder. I was really looking forward to one of those Ohio State receivers too. That hurt.
Yeah, I mean, my excitement level is probably similar to yours for the same reason, because this whole Watson thing just still has me conflicted. And again, Twitter's not real. It's okay that, to feel that way. And if people are excited about it, it's okay to feel that way too. Like, I'm not here. We're never going to tell anybody how to feel about this circumstance. It's so unique. It's so different. And there's a lot to it. I just still don't feel very comfortable. And I haven't gotten into much football or, listened to much of the stuff. I tried to listen to Andrew Berry before, but I knew it's going to be, saying a lot to say a little, that we've got like 3 of the best GMs in all of sports history doing that in press conferences. But my excitement level is low too, because not having that first round pick, it's the prestige as a fan for your team, that first round pick, like which of the top talents has been talked about forever. And you've heard during college football season, now you're hearing about them in this pre-draft process, and you're watching Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, all Dane Brugler, all these guys talk about the same names over and over and over again, possibly being those game changers in the first round. We don't have that. So I don't have that excitement to look forward to.
I mean, I didn't read a single mock draft after we lost our first pick, and I probably read like 10 of those a day normally.
I know, yeah, especially
especially
like the last week. You got like all the NFL Network, ESPN. They have their mock drafts like live. They're almost running it like a first round. Like we don't have anything in there, but there's also like 7 or 8 other teams that don't have a first round
historic.
Pick. So it's like the excitement level just feels down. What I'm still excited for as a fan of just the NFL or that draft, the way that they do it, and the best doing it, is kind of what you were just saying, Jay, in terms of like the excitement. Like you get to see someone, get that call about that you got the job after your interview. Like you got the job. Most of us, when we get our jobs, like no one sees it. There's nothing, but you see like the relief, the emotion from these players, especially on day 3, when a lot of people aren't watching. These picks don't seem to matter that much. You get these videos from the inside the houses of these kids just.
Those are by far the better. When they're at home, the reactions are far better.
Dude, I don't know. This draft is going to be crazy. We finally got. I think this is the one that got canceled because of COVID.
Yeah. This is a Vegas one, so it might be wild.
We got the Bellagio one. So like they're literally going to boat the prospects to the stage in the Bellagio.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
How long is that going to take? Is there going to be prop bets on that?
That's what I'm saying. There is draft prop bets. So that's another. I'm going to be betting on every pick.
And I'm going to be, for free. Let's be real. Second I hear that, I'm like, all right, I'm hooked. Let's go. It's draft night. And we should be excited because, I mean, look at our second round picks. You get Nick Chubb, Delpit, JOK. Like, we've been nailing our second round picks. Like, you're going to get a good player there.
Delpit was 44 overall. If there's anything to be optimistic about, Delpit was 44. 44 is where you sit now. So that's kind of the bar.
Yeah. Second and third round, you're still getting starters for your team because with these positions that are so deep, defensive line, wide receiver, there's still going to be good players there. What's the gap between the tier that you could have been at 13 versus this gap that's, the talent that's going to be available once you turn things around to Friday for round number 2. But speaking on Friday, because that's going to be where the Browns may have to make their hay. If they don't trade up, let's just assume they're not trading up into the first round, bottom of the first round Thursday.
Right.
What do they need to come out of
Nick,
Friday
who do you like? I want to know who you like.
Dude, so that's a good point. And I've really been internalizing this, right? Because I don't want to say the same thing that everyone's saying. Like, the needs are defensive line and wide receiver. So to me, when I take a look at, okay, what do we really need? Say what you will about Deshaun Watson and like the perception of that off the field. On the field, you invested 3 first-round picks for that guy and $230 million fully guaranteed. You need this to work out. Defensively, you've spent your money. You've done your job defensively if you're Andrew Berry. You got Myles Garrett for 4 more years, and now you got Denzel Ward for 5 more years. There's your cornerstone
pieces.
And
I think we're going to end up signing
Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, right. We'll see. So, all that is a work in progress. Defensive tackle, I don't think that's a position that they value highly. So, to long answer to a short question, I think my biggest thing that needs to come out of this weekend is a dynamite, explosive playmaker that can do things with the football in their hands. Amari Cooper is one of the great route runners of the game right now. He's a good route runner. He's good at getting open, but we know after he gets open, there's little room for explosion. Same thing with Jarvis Landry. I would love for Jarvis to come back.
Yeah.
I love the leader that Jarvis is, but on the football field, let's be real. It's a little Bill Belichick, Bernie Kosar diminishing skills. His skills are diminishing.
Injuries are starting to mount. Once the injuries
Yeah.
start, they don't stop. I know Gerard Terry said that a bunch of times. Every player's said
Yep.
that a bunch of times.
Donovan Peoples-Jones showed you things last year, but he also showed you things of why he was a 6th-round pick.
Yep.
And Anthony Schwartz looks like a guy that's really fast in a straight line and is still learning how to wear football pads. So that's a complete work in progress. So to me, right now, you have one sure thing at wide receiver in Amari Cooper. And if you could trade up even a little bit, I'm not saying into the first round because I don't think I don't understand how that would be possible. But I think if you could trade up into the early 40s or even late 30s, you could get a guy like Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. You could get George Pickens, who's a guy that they really
He's the
like
kid from
out
Georgia,
of
right?
Georgia. Plays with a lot of passion, plays with a lot of energy. And now, okay, you're maybe cooking a little bit better than you were with just Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson by themselves.
Yeah, wide receiver is kind of that position for me. I know you said it. You said it. A bunch of people have said wide receiver and defensive line so many times, but Padone just laid it out there perfectly. It seems like this team keeps getting route runners that can run routes well, but yak isn't there, or that big play ability isn't there. If we're going to look at this in just strictly football terms, and I think this might be the first time I'm actually doing this, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, yes, he is a better football player than Baker Mayfield was. That's just fact out there if you watch the tape. And with his arm, the type of receivers that you can put around him, if you're going to bet on him and invest in him, you're going to need to put playmakers around him. And the playmakers that it's maybe not to the Jamar Chase talent level, but that type of skill set that, you just throw it up and they're going to go get it. I keep calling back to the Kansas City game in the regular season when Jamar Chase went off and, the numbers for Joe Burrow looked great after that game. There were several throws that Jamar Chase caught that Burrow just strictly threw it up in the air. And he knew that his wide receiver was going to come down with it. That is what you need on this team. A guy that can, when going gets tough, go up there and make a play. Energy starts to fill through the stadium or through the team. And then you start to get on another roll.
You look back at all, like most of the great quarterbacks, there's always a receiver that came up with them that's affiliated with them, like Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison, then Reggie Wayne. Tom Brady had Wes Welker and then Julian Edelman. You need those guys. You want a guy that just come up with them so they just develop chemistry year after year after year after year. And then
Watson had D-Hop. So
I cannot believe they traded.
So now we got it. Now the task is out there for the Browns because you've seen that Deshaun Watson can be a home run hitter.
And he does make receivers better.
Yeah,
too.
he does. We've got Deshaun Jackson for whatever the bones of what's left of Deshaun Jackson, pleading for the Browns to sign him because of Deshaun Watson, because he knows that if I could get deep, if I could beat my man one-on-one,
which is about the only thing you can do now.
Right. The football will come his way. So I think that's the biggest thing for the Browns right now is just find.
I don't want the Deshaun Jacksons, the Will Fullers, the older guys that get hurt and stuff. I want him to draft a young guy, just come up with them.
Because Watson's here. Watson's here for 5 years. We know that. You get a rookie receiver in the second round. I get that you don't get that extra 5th year, but you still have 4 years. So that's a perfect brand new pairing of people to just bring together. It would be. I think that would be the smartest way to go about it. They've overhauled everything. You might as well keep it up and get more talent at wide receiver.
And this is where front offices, organizations, coaching staffs keep their jobs, is in a situation like this. You don't have a first round pick. Yeah, wide receiver is deep, but the players that we're talking about were the ones that were being mocked to them when they had a first round pick. Now, if you end up getting stuck, and I know that they talk through every single scenario out at Berea, and they're always well prepared. But if you do have to pick at 44, and that is the position you've been talking about. We've talked about 2020. It was, we need offensive line. They went offensive line. Last year, it was cornerback, linebacker. The first 2 picks, they did that, and they traded up a little bit to get JOK. Somehow he slipped. If there's a guy like that, they've shown that they're going to go get him. But if they have to stay at 44, you have to have done all of your homework and figure out who's that guy that, can be as impactful, maybe a little less so, but as impactful for this team being that playmaker on the outside as a wide receiver, or if it's defensive line, either way, you got to go figure out who's that next tier and can still have a starter level impact.
You know who wants a guy to take off the top more than anyone on that team is Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Because they're no longer with Watson and Amari Cooper, and you get a guy who can take off the top. They can't. Yeah, they ain't loading that box no more, and he's just gonna eat all day long, dude.
Yeah, and these are the conversations I would love to be having more of. Again, there's still the off the field situation. It's alleged, is still, and he's going to go through the legal process. It just, again, for some people,
it's going to be a long time.
It's going to be a long time.
It's not happening. It's not happening now. So, I mean, it seems like the dude is going to play. I mean, he's going to be out there week 1. Like, there's going to be no suspension this year because it was agreed that none of the depositions and things like that will happen during football season. So, OTAs are going on right now. It's football season, baby. So, and looking at 2023 for that kind of stuff, similar to sports betting could be.
And football is always a fun time. And, if we can get if sports betting gets going, or even at the very least, we got the BetJack training camp going. So, kind of help people understand and be a big thing for football season. Football season should be a big thing. I know there's plenty of people like me that still feel uncomfortable with all that stuff. And it's, everything is going to unfortunately take time. If however you feel, it's okay to feel that way. Don't let the fake universe of Twitter tell you that's how you should feel, but feel free to let everybody else in Twitter know how you feel. If you want to just type it out and not talk into a camera.
Emergency spaces.
Emergency spaces. Get on there right now. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land. First, I want to thank Nick Padone for coming on. Nick, let people know how they can kind of reach out to you, just all your plugs here at the end of the show.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to be more responsive, man, especially now that this app is out. Like, such a big burden for me, personally. So tweet at me all the time, whatever, at Nick Padone 12. That's probably the best way to go about it. Host the Sports Parlor every week with Phil Taylor, former Browns defensive tackle. This week, we're going to talk about his NFL draft story, the day that he found he received his dream job. So that's going to be a ton of fun just to hear Phil's story. And we do it a lot of other unique stuff on that show. I think we give people their first taste of sports betting and sports betting content on that show, which has been unique for me because just like everybody else, I'm kind of just learning that for the first time too. So yeah, super fun. I would just say follow me at Nick Padone 12. That's where you can find everything.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming in studio. 100%. I know it's a little different sitting over in this corner of the studio.
Other than my one over there.
Your little setups over off to my right. So I know it's a little weird, but appreciate you coming in and being on. And Jay, thank you so much. Always, thank you so much for being here. And to our producer extraordinaire, thank you so much. So for Always Positive Jay, Nick Padone, audio, or Peter Telep, I'm Kevin Arnold reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000. And as our late great friend of LPV Productions and Voice of the Land, Mike Allen always used to say, all gas, no brakes. We'll see you next week here on the Voice of the Land.